Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to Extra Point, the Bulldog Football Edition. In the studio, head Bulldog coach Ryan Nourse. And Ryan, welcome back. Week off. You got a chance to, work on your makeup a little bit better, for your next appearance and stuff like that. But no, we get used to it, having this, and people wonder where you are. But it was pretty simple. You had a bye week, so you took it off to do a little Bulldog recruiting and whatnot. How did the bye week go? Healing up those black and blue that happen in football?
Yeah, that's a small part of it. Our philosophy in terms of the bye week and how we approach it is you lighten the load, but you don't let up, and that's really critical. You can't if you have a mental and physical letdown, it's too hard to bring it back up again just to go and get ready. And football is not one of those things that is easy to start and stop. It's not that type of sport, not that type of activity. So, yeah, we lighten the load a little bit in terms of practice intensity, practice time, but we still continue to go with meetings, and the guys have improvement goals that they're working on all week as well. And then we give them a little time off towards the end of the week too, just to kind of to recoup and then hit it again.
Well, you ended your bye weekend with a very nice win. Although I know, talking to Rob after the game, he doesn't really remember too much in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the Southern Oregon game. He says, I've kind of blocked that out. But after that initial touchdown drive of theirs, their offense and defense went away. And the Bulldog offense and defense just cranked it up and put together, I won't say perfect, because I'm sure that there is no such thing as a perfect, but they played incredibly good football in the 3 quarters of the game.
Yeah, we've done that, for portions of each game. We've only put 2 games together fully this season, but yeah, it's a good team. I expected them to score and to put up a fight defensively. They're a very talented team, big, fast, strong, all those items that Southern Oregon always is. I think we were ready to play, though, and just executed what we were supposed to execute. We've just been really talking to the guys a lot about, just going where you need to do it, and to do it as hard as you can, and that's really all you can do to hopefully that relieves some of the pressure if guys were feeling additional pressure to make plays or whatever, and that's all we did. It wasn't special.
Well, I know you were a little concerned going into the game with your defensive backfield because they had some letdowns against Rocky the week before. But other than the first drive, they played great. Yeah,
I think this kind of came to life and, took what they've been practicing and what they've been working on and just put it out into the game, without any worries.
Okay, 2 weeks off, good to heal and prepare for the second half of the season. And that second half of the season, it's going to be a dilly of a second half of the season. And we're going to talk more about that right after this.
Join Dream Motors and Dillon Video on Saturday, October 30th from 4 to 7 p.m. for Trunk or Treat.
Back at Extra Point, we have in the studio Ryan Nourse, head football coach at Montana Western. And Ryan, 4 games left, 2 on the road, 2 at home. And the first of this 4-game set is going to be I would go out on a limb and say this is the game of the week in the Frontier Conference. A couple of teams 4-2. You guys ranked at 21 this week, and College of Idaho. They fell out of the top 25, but they're receiving votes. But they're still a very, very good football team. I'm sure the preparation for this one has been extremely tight.
Yeah, they're a good team. They play very well at home, but they're very well coached. Their kids play really, really hard. They do some unique things on defense that are a challenge to get blocked and to be consistent against offensively. And then their offense, they're a run-based team, and they've got some really strong running backs, and they've got some very good speed out at wide receivers. So it's going to be it'll be a challenge. It's always even more of a challenge to travel as well. They play well at home.
Well, and then offensively, we started out the season with one running back and a little injury. You put a freshman in, and the freshman performed really well, and so you have the luxury now of having that two-headed running back attack.
Yeah, we anticipated having that this year with Reese and Colton, both really quality football players and really tough physical guys, and so yeah, that's a position you have to have multiple football players at. They get nicked up, and it's when they're fresh, they're much better, and we've been able to do that for most of the season, is to be able to have that strong run game presence at the end of the game, and part of that has been those two's consistency and their availability.
Well, and you actually have three running backs in your attack with John Judd. He's done exceptionally well. He's one of those quarterbacks they talk about that he'll make you pay either with his legs or with his arm.
Yeah, we went on a lull there for about 3 weeks, where he just wasn't in great shape, is a little nicked up, and so we just didn't run him at all in games. And here over the last 2 weeks, he's really gotten in much better football shape, and he's physically feeling really good, and that is a big part of our game, especially as we move down the stretch. And if we're playing good defense and we're stopping teams like we believe we can, and we're continuing to be great in the kicking game, then our run game will increase, and then that quarterback run game aspect becomes even more prevalent for us.
Well, that age-old adage in football, your running attack sets up your passing game, and you have the luxury of having good everywhere.
Yeah, it's with what we're doing offensively this year, and kind of how we're structured and what our strengths are, and how people are playing us with 8 and 9 man boxes, that +1 run, having the running back block for the quarterback is valuable for us, and we get some nice one-on-one matchups as well. And we have some really quality wide receivers who are playing really well. So as long as we continue to hopefully make the right calls, at the right time, and continue to hold up front, I believe we can have success.
Well, and speaking of running backs, College of Idaho's running back coach is an old Bulldog.
Yeah, Leon worked for me for a little while. That was funny. We were just actually talking about that with the wide receivers out at practice just the other day. Going to get to see Leon down there at College of Idaho. So thankfully he wasn't here long enough to pick up too much.
Well, I was actually talking about Art Roper.
Oh, Arthur too. Yeah. Never coached with Art, but played with him, and Art's been with those guys for 2-3 years now, and Art's a fantastic football coach and great high school coach, and I'm sure is doing awesome for those guys down there. And we don't talk much now that he's the enemy.
That Bulldog connection, though, it's pretty interesting when you look at that team that you played on in the mid-'90s, where a lot of those guys are as far as coaches go. Yeah,
there's a pretty cool dynamic out there in between everybody, and was on that team, and there's a lot of guys who did choose to go into coaching and and athletics at a lot of different levels as well, and with Bobby Beers as an AD there for a long time at Rocky, and Jason DeJarle still scouting for the Jaguars, so there's guys out there doing a lot of different things.
Okay, well, Ryan, we want to say good luck. The game kickoff 1 o'clock, and I'm guessing right now that there's going to be a large contingent of red, white, and black in the stands. You travel really well with fans.
Yeah, we do. Our support here, I think, at the small college level is about as good as it gets. It's the best in the Frontier, hands down. Just how we travel and how we pack our stadium every single game that we go out, and that's one of the great things about being a Bulldog. Once you're a Bulldog, you're always a Bulldog. No one ever ditches the dogs, so that's a very positive in our program, our community.
Okay, well, Ryan, best of luck in Caldwell, and we'll talk again next week, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that we're talking about a Bulldog victory.
Let's hope so.
Thanks for joining us this week for Extra Point.